The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, has attributed the current food crisis in the country to the attendant price increase of smuggled food items across Nigerian borders and the Naira redesign policy. The minister, who spoke while appearing in the sectoral debate organized by the House of Representatives, also identified flooding, which destroyed farmlands across the country, as another impediment to food security in the country. Here's the report.
According to the minister, the president has directed the ministry and all those responsible to do everything possible to mitigate the suffering of Nigerians by ensuring enough grains are made available to the people. He, however, said that currently about 5,000 tractors are working in Nigeria, adding that the country should have 72,000 functional tractors to meet the growing needs of Nigerians, while the ministry has signed an MOU with the manufacturer to supply 2,000 tractors annually for the next 5 years.
We also, in 2022, like to downplay that, but it was a fact that the policy of the Naira redesign had an impact on the local rural farmer who didn't have access to cash, and at the same time was under cultivation around the September, October, when they were harvesting their produce and they need to pay their farm hands, and cash was unavailable. And even way to the time of 2023, last year, February, March, when they were just about planning to have to plant for the 2023 both dry and wet season, cash was also not readily available.
The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, said the service has commenced the sale of seized food items to vulnerable Nigerians to address hunger across the country. The Customs Boss also added that the service has arrested about 120 trucks smuggling food items from Nigeria to other countries, noting that the President has given a directive that the arrested trucks be diverted to the local markets in the areas where they were arrested in order to force down the process of grains and other food items.
We are currently in an operations all over Nigeria, which has resulted in the seizure of over 120 trucks across different border stations and border areas in the country. So, because we are in a state of emergency, we have received the directive to implement some kind of restrictions on the exports of critical food items, particularly grains. And this is what we have been implementing in the last 1 month to ensure that we have local self-sufficiency.
Earlier in his remarks, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, said given the pressing issue of enhancing food security and agricultural productivity, Nigeria must acknowledge the growing concern surrounding food insecurity, despite the vast agricultural resources at the disposal, including over 80 million arable hectares, where only 34 million arable hectares are actively being cultivated.
Honorable colleagues, our collective effort must focus on addressing both demand and supply factors along with the persistent challenge of food price inflation. Through thorough analysis, I have identified 4 critical levers for improving food security: increasing per capita consumption, raising production yield, curbing food price inflation, and reducing reliance on food import.
He said collective efforts must focus on addressing both demand and supply factors, along with the persistent challenge of food price inflation.